February 27th, 2023, a regular meeting of the City of Coolidge City Council to order, and ask that you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Norma, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor, Councilmember Hudson had to leave. You want to just, yeah, the speaker, the big white one. Big white.
Off.
Thank you.
Okay.
Start punching buttons.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilmember Tom Bagnall,
Present.
Councilmember Audrey Saavedra, Councilmember Steve Hudson, Mayor John Thompson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Jackie Henry. Here. Councilmember Tatiana Murrieta. And Councilmember Eric Daniels.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Norma. Okay, the first presentation is the monthly report by the Coolidge Chamber of Commerce. Good evening, Lynn.
You're good at this. Are you a tech guy? Okay, is that on? Okay, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Talking about December, our reinvestments were Heritage Coolidge Funeral Home, Garrett Motors, Chandler Ginning Company, M&S Equipment, Sun Porter, MPO, Sun Life Health, Blossom Digital Marketing, Central Arizona College, KNS Sports Promotion, McDonald's of Coolidge, Coolidge Head Start, Arizona State University, NextEra Energy Resources. New members for December were Hearts of Life, LLC, Dreamline Collision Center, G&H Aerospace, and First Trinity Fire Protection Design and Consulting, and Hello Clean. Visitors for December, our locals was 389, in-state 13, out-of-state 19. We did 1,008 referrals. Year-to-date, we've made 9,918 referrals, and visitors is 5,048. The Casa Grande Ruins visitation for December was 9,428. December, and this is the number we've been wanting to get back to at the ruins, over 80,717. So we're back on track with the ruins. So it's really great. The Jim and Pinal Geology Museum, they had 206 visitors. Year-to-date, 1831. So we had the Borderlands event this weekend, which I think it was like over 230 we served. Was it 230? Vice Mayor, you were there, and Councilmember Saavedra, you were there. It was a great event, great turnout. So, in your packets, we gave you marketing reports. Our board gets this every month. Do you guys have any questions? I think they're pretty, self-explanatory. Kind of gives you an idea because we have the tourism marketing campaign going on along with the Coolidge marketing program, where it's just talking about all the good things going on. And the rest of it, we're working hard on Cotton Days. It's this weekend, so it's crazy. So upcoming events, Cotton Days, March 3rd through 5th. Airport Fly-In, March 4th. Coolidge Family Quilt Show, March 4th and 5th. Pinal Geology Museum Rock Show on March 11th. Our membership luncheon on March 15th. Adopt a Street Cleanup is on March 18th. Free Dump Day at Community Drop-Off Center, March 18th. Casablanca Apartments ribbon cuttings, and we'll have their grand opening on March 24th. And then our next Borderlands will be March 25th. Any questions?
Any questions for Lynn?
No.
No? Thank you, Len.
Thank you.
You guys are doing a good job over there. Okay. Moving to call of the public. This is the portion of the meeting where if you need to address the council on any matter, you can stand, and go up to the podium, and you'll have up to 3 minutes. We'll need your name and your address before you start in on your presentation. Norma, is there anybody?
Yes, Mayor, we have Richard Chad Day with Daycraft.
Okay.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mayor, Council. Chad Day, Daycraft Systems. The address is 3527 South Hangar Drive, Coolidge, Arizona. Just wanted to come tonight and say I've been out here for 2 years. We came down with 3 people. We're up to about 33 people. We have our small manufacturing out at the airport. We really love working with the city, and we're hoping to make a long-term commitment to the city here shortly. So the city's been great to work with, very open. We enjoy doing business down there, and really appreciate how we've been able to grow down there in the last 2 years, and we're looking forward to expanding at that facility over the next 2 to 3 years. We have worked with Cavett. We're getting ready to work with Cavett and the colleges here to hire more local people and increase our employee base down in Coolidge. So I just wanted to come in tonight and say thank you. I haven't been present because we've been trying to build this for the last couple of years. It's been pretty crazy, but it's been very successful so far, and we look forward to continuing this growth down here in Coolidge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chad. We appreciate you being there. Let me ask you before you sneak off there with Mr. Glass. Approximately how many guys do you have that are from Coolidge that are working?
I think we have 6 or 7
Okay.
out of the 30, which is pretty good. We've got 2 more that we just hired, so I think we'll be at about 15 to 20 people out of Coolidge pretty
Good.
soon. So,
Well, thank you, sir. We're glad you're there.
thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else?
No, Mayor, we have no one else.
Excuse me?
There's no one else, Mayor, I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you then. All right. If there's nobody else, then we'll move out of call of the public and we'll move into business items for consent. Is there anyone on the council that wants to pull any of these items off for individual? Not hearing anything, then we'll move into it. Item 4, consider approval of entering into a memorandum of understanding between the City of Coolidge and Central Arizona College to provide free ESL classes and free GED classes from February 6, 2023 through February 6, 2026. Item 5, consider ratification and approval of applying for the 2023 OPSG grant funds from the Arizona Department of Homeland Security in the amount of $340,194 to be used for overtime, mileage, and equipment for Operation Stone Garden details. Item 6, consider approval of entering into an agreement for purchase of equipment with Southwest Sweeper for the purchase of a 2022 ES-351 mechanical sweeper in the amount not to exceed $340,000, authorizing the mayor to sign the necessary documents. And Mr. Navarro, is there a pretty good chance that we might get one this time? We go through this every month or two.
It seems like we're having an issue, but these guys have it on site, so as soon as they're going to deliver.
Thank you, sir. Item 7, consider approval of the claims of the month of January 2023. Okay. If there's nothing further, I'd like for a motion to act.
Mayor,
Yes.
I move to approve item number 4, 5, 6, and 7 as read.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Business under regular items, item 8. Consider approval of modifying the existing CART and Cotton Express routes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. We're here tonight to talk about our proposed route changes for both CART and Cotton Express. This is something we've been working on for years, if you include the CART route optimization study, and the time has finally come to propose some changes and hopefully implement them pretty soon. Quick outline, we're going to review the current transit services as well as our proposed changes, and any questions you guys have, any questions from the public, we're here to hopefully answer all of them and take care of this thing tonight. CART, which is the biggest mover of the group here tonight, some basic program information here. We run an intercity connector right now that joins Coolidge, Casa Grande, CAC, the town of Florence, and one stop that connects with Greyhound service down at Love's off of Sumlin Gin Road and the I-10. Most of our regular intercity travelers, they're using CART for education, visiting medical appointments, or social services out of town. We also have two commuter services. The AM commuter runs from Casa Grande to Florence, intended to take Pinal County employees and anyone else working that direction. The PM commuter is meant to bring them back home. We also get some folks who return from Florence from the courthouse and other appointments that way to get back to Coolidge or Casa Grande. Cotton Express, our local service, we have two deviated flex routes. The red route runs from about 7:35 to about 7:50, 35-minute loop all day. Some key stops there, the youth center, the library, and shopping areas up north. Our blue route runs on the west side of town, starts at 7 a.m., it ends at roughly 7:35. Some key stops there are the high school, shops, and shopping areas up north as well. We also have demand response service, which runs from 7 a.m. to 4:45, and that is curb-to-curb service anywhere in Coolidge city limit based on pre-scheduled appointments. Moving forward, we had the CART route optimization study that technically started, I think, way back in 2020, right around the beginning of COVID. It was postponed, and most of the heavy lifting got done between 2021 and 2022. The final study was approved in December of 2022 by Sun Corridor. Thank you, Mayor Thompson. The main recommendations there are streamlining CART service to make the service more competitive for ADOT funding and being able to grow the service in the future versus potentially getting rid of it if we continue to do what we're doing. The key changes presented, we're looking at removing our commuters and essentially melding them with our first and last run in the morning and evenings. As well as removing our latest run, which runs to Casa Grande at 6:30 and doesn't get back until after 8:20. That run was created only to connect with Greyhound, and it produces very little yield other than that connection. Other negative changes in service, I would call them, we're looking at removing two stops in Casa Grande at Florence and Treckle and the Promenade Mall. Those stops are just very low ridership. The other stops in town are at least double that. So we're looking to create stops that passengers want to go to and hopefully keep the service a little more efficient that way. Some additions we're looking at, we're looking to add the Coolidge Walmart stop, as well as two new stops in Casa Grande. One would be downtown, just on the south side of Pert Park, and the second would be in the Fry's Plaza, just off of Florence Boulevard. That's a central location. We get a lot of requests to go that way. A lot of folks are going that way to work or visit the plasma donation bank. There's a few kind of key things in that area that we don't have here that would be great for us to be able to service and keep people here in Coolidge happy, as well as Florence and our other partner areas. The biggest change overall here is the elimination of our connection with Greyhound. That would remove the Love stop and save us roughly 11 miles per loop. Which is great for cost savings. Inconvenience, we did an estimate during this study, and we looked at nearly $10,000 in inconvenience costs for our passengers that rode from Casa Grande to Coolidge. They had to go all the way out of their way to Love's down south, and that was an extra 30 minutes or so of route time that they didn't need to have, basically. The biggest change here financially, this would make us ineligible for 5311F grant funding, which is roughly $100,000 this year. That's a ton of money out of our $1 million program, but we sat down and did the math, and we actually received about $100,000 extra funding this year. So if we get rid of the Greyhound service, which are already halfway through the grant year, overall we're going to be okay. We got extra funding, and we're looking at cutting costs quite a bit.
Greyhound, they weren't paying the matching funding.
For much of 2021 and 2022, we weren't receiving any additional Greyhound. It was delayed nearly a year, and when we got funding back, we only received about 30,000 of the 85 or so we were promised. So there's been some bad business there. Greyhound Company itself, who I don't want to drag too much, but even their customer service department was hanging up on us and our riders. It is a connection that just wasn't working, which I know they've been undergoing an ownership change, so there's lots of moving parts there. But overall, it's something that hasn't been efficient for us, and it has been far from productive.
Thank you. That's kind of what I understood. So
Yeah.
not necessarily a good business partner for us right now.
We contacted Greyhound during the study in 2021. I got a follow-up call last Thursday. So
Okay. Well, that says a lot. Thank you.
time to move forward, in my opinion. Hopefully you guys will follow that recommendation. There's a little bit more here, if I can get the clicker to work. Okay, there we go. Some additional numbers here regarding carts change. We're looking at saving about 12 minutes per run, even with the addition of the Walmart stop in Coolidge going to and from Florence, which we know our Town of Florence partner is very excited about that stop. A lot of their passengers are coming to Coolidge to shop, and we can give them a direct stop versus bringing them back and forth across town and wasting time and money. Cost savings, according to Kimley Horn during the study, we're looking at saving about $71,000 annually just with the changes recommended here. I did some additional math, and it looks like based on our cost per service hour for last year, we're looking at about $65,000 in savings just by reducing the service 4 hours per day, and that doesn't include any changes to mileage, scheduling, anything like that. We think with the lower overall costs and hopefully similar ridership levels that CART should become more and more competitive. And with fewer buses running during the day, that gives us a decent foundation for some potential future growth. I know Eloy expressed an interest previously in potentially connecting with CART in the future. I know that areas north of us may have some potential growth opportunity down the road. With only one bus covering all of this service through the day, it gives us a lot more options down the road when we can obtain some more funding. If things go okay tonight, we're looking to make this service effective Wednesday, March 1st, which is only 2 days from now. So far, we've made it through the public approval process with a great deal of support. We haven't had any negative issues our way. Even the world of Facebook's been pretty positive, which is encouraging. Only variable left here is city council approval, which we've got a little more to go, and then we can kind of get to that. Come on, clicker. With the changes in CART, we'll have to make some changes to Cotton Express service as well. These are essentially service enhancements. With the time and mileage saved in CART's changes, we're able to move 4 service hours into Cotton Express service and keep the same employment levels and hopefully decrease our overall costs at the same time. As far as our 2 deviated flex route goes, we're looking to add 3 additional loops for both the red and blue route. This proposal would allow us to have 1 bus on each route from 8:10 all the way to 6:40 in the evening. Right now, currently, we only have 1 bus running route from 7 a.m. to 8:45, and then from 4 p.m. to roughly 8 p.m. So this reduces that window of having a single bus running around town by almost 4 hours. With the changes, the CART also comes some schedule compression, which would allow us to make some modifications during the middle of the day. We have more drivers in town that time of day if we make the change we propose, which we plan on implementing into an expansion of our demand response service, that curb-to-curb pickup. We'd be able to have 2 drivers operate that service from 10 to 2, which is our peak hours. That's when we have the most requests for trips. Right now, we deal with turning a lot of people away at those times of day because those trips are already booked, and we don't have an extra bus at the moment to be able to handle two versions of this at the same time. So we're looking to have more coverage and more coverage during our busiest time of the day with simply just the hours we're saving from CART. And we're looking to make this effective as soon as Wednesday as well. Come on, clicker. Sorry. I don't know where this even goes. Okay, a quick summary of our public input we received. We've had the notice for the route change out since January 20th. We're only required to have it out for 30 days, so we've exceeded that by at least a week or two. We held a public hearing last Wednesday, February 22nd. We had 2 visitors, which is way more than our usual 0. It's kind of interesting. We received a lot of questions about fares, weekend service, access to the adult center, both in Coolidge and in Casa Grande, which is interesting. Questions about deviation from route, demand response, are our vehicles ADA accessible, do we stop at the schools in town? We answered all these questions. Little had to do with the changes we proposed, but we are still here to help out. A key thing here, transit fares, we're required to talk about this if we propose a change. We have no proposed fare changes this time. I know in the CART study there was a little bit of discussion about potentially lowering fares, but there wasn't a formal recommendation. If that's something council may want to do in the future, I have no issue doing so, but it's not recommended here. And as far as changes go, that's pretty much all I have. If things are approved tonight, we will implement this Wednesday, March 1st, and get the routes and shifts changed and everybody moving where they're supposed to be moving. Thank you everybody for your time. We left plenty of time here for questions. We're going home to eat dinner, whatever everybody wants to do. And we will accept any verbal and written comments through the end of the meeting. I didn't know I was the last item. I probably shouldn't have put that bullet, but here we are. Happy to answer anything you guys have.
Any questions down here?
Mayor, I have one. Eric, did you hear any from the city of Casa Grande or Florence, from their officials?
From officials, not quite. I've had quite a bit of dialogue with Casa Grande's new transit manager. They're getting ready to start a service in June. That was the last timeline I was given. There's going to be lots of coordination with CART and the new Casa Grande link once they get going. We have a few stops that are disappearing and lots of areas in Casa Grande that we don't access because we're a fixed route. And hopefully the addition of their service will make some new connections for our CART riders. Town of Florence is part of our CART board, so we speak with them pretty regularly. They've been in support of these changes through the entire CART study and everything that's happened since, and so far so good.
I was wondering, the AM commute that you're removing, where does that one go?
So the AM commuter goes to Casa Grande. It's intended to pick up county employees and anybody else working. It comes through Coolidge and then heads back to Florence to the county facilities and then returns here. Just kind of a quick loop. It doesn't go down to Greyhound or the college, which are kind of our extra stops on our normal runs. It's more of a streamlined version.
Is that, since we're removing it, is that a lot of people that are going to be left trying to figure it out?
No, I'm glad you asked that. So our original lower ridership stops, we kind of, in a way, kept it. We merged it with our first run. Right now in the morning, we're running 2 buses pretty much at the same time, which isn't extremely efficient. But the first CART route is going to start at the same time as the AM commuter, or it may be 5 minutes earlier. But and that'll run to all of our normal stops. It'll still get people to Florence by about 7 a.m. So most employees should be able to get to work in time still. If somebody starts at 6:40, 6:45, they may have a little trouble there. But most of our commuters work 7 o'clock and should be able to get to work on time.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you.
Doesn't Pinal County, do they still have the vans that they pick people up and stuff? So probably a lot of people use those.
Yeah, the county's van pool, they started it in 2016. And from there on, you can see a big dip in the commuter ridership. I think it's just more comfortable for folks. They can drive, which allows them to make pit stops and things like that on the way to and from. Which the bus will not pull over at Circle K where you can get a coffee or something. I definitely understand the convenience aspect to it, but we still have a few employees that ride the bus.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, I know at one time there was a lot of conversation involving Eloy in this, but I guess it got shot down higher up than it is in this room. So,
Well, that's we're getting ready to start the short range transit plan, and we're really going to evaluate expansion from there. This study was more to refine what we have and kind of set up for future growth, and the new study will evaluate that.
how often will we take a look at these routes? Because Nicole is starting to hire more people, and when Procter and Gamble gets down there, you're going to need. I mean, there's going to be more traffic going that direction down 87. Also, these guys out here at the airport, I mean, there's 2 or 3 more companies moving in out. So we may need something going to the east a little bit once in a while.
Sure.
As far as I know, they're going to work mainly day shift. Are you guys going to go? Are you guys going to go 2 shifts, days and swings? So,
That's something we can certainly take a look at in that new study. I think with all the detail we put into cart service and the route optimization study, I think there'll be a heavier focus on Cotton Express service in the new plan.
Yeah.
And any cart items, I imagine, will be related to future growth of Boy Connection or Santan, Queen Creek, if the county wants to do something like that. The Nicola area, the airport, that's all in Coolidge. We can tackle that with Cotton Express and some expansion to our local service without having to really mess with any of the partners in the IGA or anything like that. It should be a little smoother.
Oh, we see a lot of these people that don't have a vehicle, but they want to. Certainly, in the beginning, they could ride the bus, and they can't do that in too many other cities. So we want to make it available to those people so we can get them working.
Right, that's something we see a lot, actually, and we're happy to do it. We take a lot of folks out to Bright and some of the businesses around town, and they get started there, they make some money, and then they get a car and move on.
And they dump you, but that's okay. That's what it's about.
That's okay. That's what we're here for.
All right, Eric. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Out of curiosity, are all of our vehicles ADA approved or accessible?
Yes,
Okay.
required to be.
They got to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you haven't had any more conversations from any the East Coast lately, have you?
No, sir.
No wonder it's going so well. Okay. All right. If nobody has any further questions, are you?
That's all I have.
You're good to bail? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
if there's no further questions, I move to approve number 8 as read.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that proves. So, we'll go to the report from the mayor and the council. Start down here with Councilmember Bagnell.
I went out this last week and they had the 4-H state shooting competition out south of Casa Grande. Went out there and served burgers and hot dogs, and I'm telling you, some of those kids, I don't want to shoot around them because they just embarrass me. But I think it'd be great if Daycraft came out and showed them what a real gun was out there. 'Cause if you've been out there to see what they have, that's quite a facility. And thank you for coming in tonight. Appreciate that. And just want to remind everybody, look forward to the fly-in this Saturday, and come out, grab some to eat, come back in for the rest of Cotton Days. And I'm sure Daycraft will buy all their employees breakfast out there this weekend. Well,
Look at there. Look at that. Look at that.
that's it. Thank you.
That was plenty. All right, Ari.
We do the Borderlands event this weekend. It was not as cold as the prior month, which I was appreciative of, and looking forward to toy shows. So,
Thank you. Eric?
Yeah, I had the pleasure actually today to go to Coolidge High School. Tristan Gillespie, one of the agriculture teachers over there, invited me to listen in some of the presentations that the freshman class were doing about community projects, specifically talking about the environment. So that was a great pleasure to be back at CHS and listen to some of the kids in their presentations. Other than that, I'm just ready for some Texas Twisters. But.
Since Daycraft is here, I also want to thank you again for allowing us to go and tour the facility. And it was really nice to see Coolidge staff, Coolidge folks working there. So I do appreciate that. And I went home and I made a huge post, and my message box was blowing up with how do I apply? How do I apply? And I'm like, email this email address. So.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Okay, so I too attended Borderlands, and I was thankful. It was really cold last month. And then I went on to the quilt show. We had a quilt show Saturday and Sunday, and then it's going to be next Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday we're going to be honoring some vets with some Quilts of Valors, and also we'll be drawing for the quilt. But this last Saturday, we honored our founding ladies that founded Cotton Patchers, and that was Gail McIntyre Piggott and Delphia Anderson, which she passed away last year, the first day of our quilt show. But I would like to thank Mayor Thompson, City Clerk Norma Ortiz, and Ricky LaPaglia for coming. We sent out a lot of invitations. And Ricky brought his daughter down to look at all the quilts. And there's some really nice quilts. And this year, for the first time ever, we do have some quilts for sale. So again, we are still going to be open next Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 4. And I, too, would like to thank Chad for coming tonight. Because when I toured the facility, I was like in awe. So thank you so much. And that's it.
Thank you. Rick?
Just briefly mention to the council, we've talked recently about a couple bills that were introduced in this legislative session. One related to the rental tax that if passed would have an impact on our revenue. That was vetoed, it was passed, but then vetoed by our governor. I do understand in talking to Gilbert this afternoon that the Senate did pass, I think 13-10 vote. 1613. They passed the bill that would basically prohibit cities from imposing a food tax, which is not a good thing. Don't know how that's gonna pan out, but the Senate passed that bill. A lot of cities are objecting to that. Us alone, that would impact us significantly, about 1.4 million, I think. The other one was a little over $270,000, but the food tax would hit us hard. And so we're really hoping that that does not pass. That's all I have, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Mr. Miller.
Hate to ended on a note like that, but
Well, we'll be down there tomorrow, and that's, I guess, one of the things we'll be talking about with them. So, but the weekend was good. We did the MLK March with Pastor Vince Smith and a whole bunch of others, and then it was off to the quilt show, and then out to St. James. So it was an interesting weekend. But we spend most of our time now talking to groups of people. We don't know who they are, but we know why they're here. They're interviewing Coolidge City Council members and our economic development team and seeing if they want to relocate a company here. So that's what a lot of our days are spent doing now. So activity's really picking up. So anyway, that's all we have for tonight. Thank you all for coming. We're still going to go back in session after I close out this meeting. So I need a motion to get out of the regular meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're out of the regular meeting. Do you guys need